Hey everyone, your favorite art teacher here. Just a little disclaimer, this is not my information. I got it from Television Jamaica YouTube channel. You can go ahead and search for a CSEC visual arts lesson. Link is also down below for that video. But if you're a teacher or an art student and you don't want to watch a full version over, this video is the right video for you. It's shortened. I also place a timestamp on their video in the comment section below. This video will also have a timestamp for the specific topics, so don't waste time searching for it. So grab your pen and your paper and let's begin.
Arts Workfly.
Today's lesson is on CSEC Visual Art. We are focusing on the reflective journal.
What is the reflective journal?
The reflective journal is a compilation of your theme approach to the artistic exploration and creation. Wouldn't you say?
Exactly. It covers your journey over a 2-year period, starting in grade 10 and ending in grade 11. And so basically that's what the reflective journal is. But what we'd like to do is we'd like to focus a little bit at this time on the importance of reflective journaling. And so we're going to look at it through the lens of an old master, Leonardo da Vinci, who would have contributed to the world and most of the inventions that we enjoy today by journaling his ideas from 500 years ago.
Did you know that from age 26, he actually wrote 3 pages in his journal until he was in his 60s? Can you imagine the amount of information? The world knows a lot about technology and engineering because of his journaling
I really
practices.
like one of the things that he makes reference to in terms of his approach, and he documented this. He said, first I do some experiments before I proceed. He goes and he makes sure that he gets the facts. He's informed, because he once said that if you go and do a painting without being informed by the science and the math and the cultural relevance of what it is you're depicting in your artwork, then technically you will be very much like a mirror. You're just reflecting what is seen out there, but you're not understanding the mechanics that ties the whole together. At this time, we are going to be looking at the overview of content that we will be exploring in the reflective journal.
Cover design and title, table of contents, artistic statement, expressive form, bibliography, and glossary. We call it definition of terms. The expressive form content really is just like your drawing, your painting and mixed media, your graphic design, communication, printmaking, 3D, textile, or so on. Any 2 expressive form that you have chosen to do for the CSEC Visual Arts.
What we're going to be doing now, we're going to be approaching this presentation in a chronological order in terms of what should be placed in the journal first. And so we're going to be looking now at the cover design and the title of the journal.
Title, typeface, pictorial design, all together with your theme. Typeface design is important, but please remember the pictorial design as well as your text must match your theme.
It is very important that what you put out there in terms of your cover design is actually designed in such a way to stimulate an interest in your audience to want to explore the content of your journal. If you're trying to communicate something about obesity, we would want the typeface to match that concept of obesity. The typeface along with the pictorial design, they work hand in hand, because the typeface will actually help to enhance the communicative ability of the images. And
So tell me about the artist statement.
this is where you, the artist, gets an opportunity to introduce your work and yourself to your audience. And this is very important. If people don't understand you, it's difficult for them to appreciate you and appreciate your work.
You're going to be answering a few questions. For example, why did you choose visual arts? The reason for choosing the expressive forms. And last but most importantly, why did you choose
The other
your
aspect
theme?
of our journal that we'll be looking at today is the history of our expressive forms. It's very important that you try and capture a historical overview of the expressive form that you have selected to represent yourself and your ideas out there in the world. The fundamental ideas related to drawing should be explored. For example, what are the basic ideas relative to drawing? Who pioneered it? What pillars did they establish? So you can actually come and benefit from their explorations and the findings in terms of their experiences with drawing. You also want to ensure that you explore the cultural relevance of drawing. That is, with this drawing expressive form, how does it match in the Jamaican context? How does it help to give our spin on what drawing as an expressive form is as we put our work out there in the world? And the last consideration that we want to look at is the contemporary representation of these expressive forms. Now, the other aspect of the journal that we'll be looking at is the biography of the artist. So,
you know, if I'm going to write about you, Mr. Lawton, as an artist, I'm going to need to know a few things. Yes, I'm going to know a little bit about your background. I'm going to know why you chose to do art. I'm going to know your education. I need to know your educational background. I need to know your influences. I need to know if you had any exhibitions. And it's just simply that. Just something about the artist.
exactly.
Right, and background and in relation to your theme as well.
Now, an important appendage to writing the artist's biography. You must select pieces of works to demonstrate what it is that about this artist that fascinates you, and to establish the connections between this artist's work and how you intend to have it inform. The next thing that we're going to be looking at in the journal is the critical analysis. So for the critical analysis, is basically, when you think about it, is it's a constructive way or a strategic way of evaluating artworks. It's a way of pulling the artwork apart into bits and pieces so as to make sense of each piece so you can properly evaluate what is happening. That's basically what it is. And it has 4 simple steps.
4 simple steps. 1, you describe. You then analyze. You interpret and judge. When you're doing the description, you want to state only facts about the artwork. It's like, as Mr. Lawton normally say, you're trying to describe a piece of work to Ray Charles.
Exactly.
For those who don't know, Ray Charles is blind, right? So you want to give him a feel of the work. You're stating only facts. When you reach the analysis stage, you're going to say, how did the artist do this? You're going to the mechanics of the work.
Exactly.
How? You want to say, how did the artist achieve these principles using these elements? Then you're going to interpret. The interpretation is basically your own feedback on the piece. You need to cite a few facts, but it's really about what you think about the piece. What exactly is the artist trying to say to you as the viewer? Now, when you judge the piece towards the end, you want to judge the piece saying what was right about the piece, what was not so right about the piece.
And so, consideration when you're judging the artwork, you want to make reference to what is the title of this piece. That gives you some indication as to what it is that the artist intended to communicate in this composition. You want to look at the use of principles and elements, the formal aspects of the putting together of the piece.
At the end, you have 5 pieces of the artist's work. So you're doing a full critical analysis of 1. And then after which, you are going to compare and contrast the others with this one piece of work, the similarities and the differences. Yes?
What about the reflection?
The reflection is of paramount importance. And again, what you want to do for this part of it, you want to also not just reference your own journey, but you perhaps would want to reference the journey of the artist as well to help to tie the whole experience together. So what were the challenges that you as an artist encountered during this 2-year artistic journey? What are some of the challenges and how were you able to resolve some of these challenges?
I like to think of the reflection all about me. right? What, as you said before, what you've learned, what were your experiences, what were your challenges, right? And overall, your successes with art. You can do a reflection after each expressive form as well as at the end of the journal.
You know, sometimes we are tempted to just do a little 2 minutes scribble on the paper to say, well, you know, this journey was successful, all my pieces are great, and so on and so forth. But people are truly interested in some of the challenges that you actually go through, you know. And they are also interested in what have you learned. The bibliography at this point in time. And it's just a list of citations that tells your reader where it is that you get your information from. And there are two main approaches to doing your bibliography that would be acceptable. As CSEC students, you have the MLA format and the APA format.
It is common practice doing the reflective journal recently for you to collect most, if not all, your information online. It's not good enough to just quote a URL. You have to break it down and record a few things. For example, you're going to look if it's from an article, journals, books, interviews, or any other text. You want to make it clear. Depending on the method that you're using, you want to mention the artist's name, title of article or document, source, publication date, and date the artist, the information.
Can you tell me about the glossary, please?
The glossary actually helps persons to understand who you are. It's basically a list of works that is relative to the expressive form that you have selected to express yourself as an artist. And what it does, it gives the reader definitions that are associated with the content that you are writing about.
Ensure that the words or terms in your glossary actually is directly related to your expressive forms. You're doing something on painting, unless something in ceramic is related to painting, then I really shouldn't see it in there. Okay?
That's it for part 1. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell so you can always know when I upload.